Have you ever wondered how complex Iran's military structure actually is? Why does this country operate with two separate and distinct armies? Today we are going to dive deep into their armed forces, so stay with me until the very end to understand everything. Alright friends, let's get straight to the main point and structure. In Iran, we do not face a simple one-dimensional system today. The armed forces are a mix of army, IRGC, and police. Each of these groups has specific duties that we will review. First of all, we must open the file of the army. The main duty of the army is protecting independence and land. If an enemy wants to attack borders, the army blocks them. This institution focuses on classic defense against foreign threats and aliens. But the army is not one piece. It has four branches. These four powerful arms each take responsibility for one defense sector. They are organized to completely cover land, air, and the sea. Let's see exactly what these four forces do and their differences. The first force is the ground force, known as Nezaja here. This force is directly responsible for land battles and border protection. Soldiers and tanks of Nezaja are always on the front lines. They are the backbone of the army to stop enemy entry. The second part is the Air Defense Force, the Watchful Eye. Their job is monitoring and defending airspace against hostile flying objects. They track anything flying in the sky with their advanced radars. If a hostile plane arrives, this defense must shoot it down. The third force is the Air Force, home to fast pilots. The main focus here is offensive and defensive operations with jets. They maneuver in the sky with fighters to strike enemy targets. The difference is they fly and attack, unlike the ground defense. And the fourth arm is the Navy, operating in the waters. Their responsibility is protecting territorial waters and coasts, south and north. But the interesting point is they are active in international waters. They send their ships to oceans to show their naval power. Okay, we closed the army file, now to the second part. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has a totally different story here. The IRGC is not just military, it has ideological missions too. Let's see exactly what this powerful institution does and how it works. The IRGC, besides military defense, must protect the revolution's values too. They must defend system achievements against any internal or external threats. This means their work goes beyond borders and is political too. The IRGC structure is huge and includes 5 specialized separate forces. The first force in the IRGC is the ground force, obviously, but they usually have their own special equipment and battle tactics. The second is the aerospace force, perhaps the most important part. This force holds responsibility for all of Iran's missile and drone power. When you hear Iran fired a missile, it is their work. They focus heavily on developing advanced drones and long-range ballistic missiles. The third force is the IRGC Navy, different from the Army. These guys focus more on speedboats and operations in the Gulf. The fourth IRGC force is the Quds Force, a famous name. This force is responsible for external operations outside of Iranian soil. They have influence in the Middle East and execute regional policies. And finally, the fifth pillar is the Basij organization, the people. Basij is a volunteer force that operates under direct IRGC supervision. They are everywhere, from local mosques to offices and even schools. In peace, they do cultural work. In war, they help out. This huge human network increases the social influence of the Guard. Now, you might ask, where does the police fit in this? The third part of armed forces is the Law Enforcement Command. This institution is directly responsible for order and security in cities. Although their nature is policing, they count as part of the military. The police have the duty to fight crime and social insecurity. They are responsible for traffic control and internal border security as well, meaning when you see police on the street, you see military. Their equipment and ranks are completely military and have a hierarchy. Okay friends, so far we learned we have 3 military islands: Army, IRGC, and police, each with thousands of troops and gear. But the main question is, how do they coordinate without fighting? How can 2 ground forces or 2 navies work in parallel? Here is where the discussion of macro management enters the system. All these sections operate under the supreme leader, the commander-in-chief. He issues the decrees for all main commanders of these forces. But for daily executive work and coordination, an important body exists. The General Staff of the Armed Forces is the highest entity. This staff has the duty of policy-making and creating vital coordination. They act like the brain, so forces don't get confused. The main goal is preventing overlap and conflict between the forces. Imagine if everyone played their own tune and style. The General Staff is responsible to manage battlefronts during a war. They decide if it's the Army's turn or the IRGC. The division of budget and macro military resources happens right here. An interesting point about equipment differences that you really must know. The Army usually focuses on heavy classic gear like tanks and jets, but the IRGC has invested more in missiles, drones, and speedboats. This division of labor makes them complement, not eliminate each other. Regarding the budget, there is always much debate on who gets more. Usually, Parliament sets budgets, but full transparency in details is missing. However, IRGC missile development is always a top priority for funding. The Army also has heavy costs for maintaining its massive fleet. So, in summary, Iran has a combined and multi-layered military system. One layer for borders, the army, one layer for the system, and one layer for safety inside cities. All are fully armed, and the general staff stands above them all to keep order. This structure might look complex and even a bit confusing initially, but Iran's strategy is to guarantee its security with this method. Parallel forces mean if one fails, the other can replace it. This is the same defense doctrine applied in Iran for years. I hope you enjoyed this precise and simple breakdown of facts. If you want a video comparing their missiles or tanks, comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support me for more. Write in the comments which force is stronger. See you later.